Jordan. Oh, a spectacular move by Michael Jordan.
Pushing 5 to play in the third. Kobe. Crawford. Hogan. Bring it on, Kobe, baby.
You are now tuned into the chat room. Your favorite baller's favorite podcast.
All right, welcome back to the Chatroom Podcast. This is episode 25, big 25. With me today, I got Jermaine.
It's popping.
Dewayne's in the building.
Well, none.
We got Coach in the building.
What you do, y'all? What you do?
And you already know myself, I am the senator. And with us today, I should say, we are going to do a business episode. Because like we say, we don't just keep this strictly on basketball. We want to also be able to educate and help promote other businesses at the same time too. So we got a fully loaded house right now. We got 4 special guests with us today. I'm going to give them the opportunity to say their name and give you guys a little insight about what they do.
Wow, my name is Vince. I'll go ahead. I'll start first. My name is Vince, part owner of a clothing brand called Voler Garconz, and my business partner is in the group chat as well. So he'll introduce himself.
My name is Beeks, or you could call me Kadeem. So yeah, I'm co-owner of a clothing line too. It's vulgar, as you can see. Vince is wearing a hoodie. I'm wearing a t-shirt. We have hats, and yeah, welcome to be here.
Dope.
I'll go then. Sorry, guys. My voice is off. I was out last night.
Man.
Hey. By the way, happy belated birthday.
Yeah, I appreciate it, brother. Appreciate it. Thank you, bro. Thank you. So yeah, my name is Sam Tita. I am the founder of Black Men's Style. Black Men's Style is a non-for-profit organization. But then it's also a movement, a Black movement. And what we're looking to do is to change the narrative that has been imposed upon, the Black male image, throughout, media, distorted representation from media of all sorts. So, that's me, Sam Tita, and I guess we'll speak more on it.
Dope.
My name is Hally Job, and I'm the managing director for Gambia's biggest petroleum company. So for those of you who don't know where Gambia is, like I said earlier, it's in West Africa. And I used to live in Canada until about 5 years ago. So looking forward to the chat with the fellas on this call.
Dope. And like we always want to thank our guests for coming on, because you guys will always bring a different perspective than what we can offer. So respect and thanks for coming on. Let's just jump into the first topic. And we all know the first 2 are always roundtable style. So anybody can just jump in and just give your points. So after 72 days, the shortest break in professional sports history, NBA is back. We had some exhibition games over this past weekend. Did any of you guys get to watch any of the games or see any highlights? And what were you excited about?
For me, I would say I've only seen the highlights. I've seen the highlights. And as for excitement, I would say would be to see the Ball brothers all kind of go at it. That's what I'm most excited to see this season. Because the anticipation has been there for anybody who's been following those guys from high school up until where they are now. I think that's probably the most exciting thing for me to see this season. And yeah.
Can we just all give LeVar Ball his props, man? Like everyone was shitting on this guy for a long time. This guy has all 3 of his fucking sons in the NBA. That's tough.
No, that's actually crazy. I give it up for that. I'm untouched with basketball right now, but what he's doing for his family is amazing right now.
Tough, bro.
Like, marketing at its finest, man.
Everybody was just saying, "Oh, he's a horrible son, a horrible father." He's put this drag this man's name through the dirt. It's the man. He put all his sons in the business in the position to kind of make money on their own.
Exactly.
He never folded. Never folded throughout everything. Never folded. He took all kind of backlash. Never folded.
Give that man his props, yo. Swear.
And he sold shoes. He sold shoes like it was nothing. Even though the shoes didn't look the greatest, he sold shoes and made money from them too as well.
Bro, he was essentially like, if you look at it, he was essentially just doing what Master P did for his family.
Yeah,
I mean, that's essentially what he's doing. But everyone looking at Master P like, oh, No Limit Soldiers, that's the cool movement. I mean, like, you know, like that's like, oh, they're rapping about like, you know, killing this, killing that, yeah. That's the movement. You know, they're rocking on that. But when LeVar Ball say, yo, my son is gonna be the best player in the NBA, yada. Like, you know, like uplifting his kids, all that. They're giving the man dirt. Now he has all 3 kids.
Well, I look at it from a different angle. So I give him his props all day for being a good dad, right? And that's what everybody looks forward to. They are looking for positive role models, and he's one of them.
Facts.
On the flip side, he did put a lot of pressure on Lonzo when Lonzo first got in. So it gave the opportunity for the slander. So if it's not like he was just like, yeah, my son is amazing, he's gonna be whatever. Like he was like,
he's the best.
Yeah, like you just it was just like so much.
As a dad, don't you think you would do that for your kid?
No. I'm saying I get it. I'm giving him his props, but I'm saying as far as media wise as opening it up, you're at the same time of being the good dad and boosting your child up the way how you're supposed to, there's also a little area where if you go a little bit too far at certain points, you open yourself up for scrutiny by the media. And that's what happened. So because Lonzo wasn't living up to that that expectation, it just allowed the media to really pile on him, right? And just be like, okay, this here. Then LiAngelo had to take the harder route. Like he went G League, he wasn't getting in. They finally got
but he kind of fucked himself.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying thing, but I'm just saying from the beginning when Lonzo was getting drafted, LeVar was like, all 3 of my sons are getting in. So once he got into the problem when he was at UCLA, then that it just adds on to the scrutiny. Then you pull Melo from school and then you put him to play in Lithuania and then Australia. And then people just like, okay, now this is a way how we can just pile on all this type of scrutiny onto this guy. But throughout all of that, all three of them are in the league.
So man, he definitely needs to get his applause, man, because that's like as a father, like you want your kids to be the best, but you want to put your kids in a position where they can fend for themselves. I mean,
that's a great thing to do.
Yeah, man.
We're create a legacy, man.
That's it. Yeah, that's it.
Yep.
But if I don't get this MJ LeVar one-on-one, I don't like it's all downhill from there.
The man said he wants what, 200 mil or 2 mil? He said he wants for that.
He tripped.
Yeah.
Yo, LeVar can't hoop. He can't hoop.
Bro, he averaged like 2 points a game in college.
He can't. He was an athlete. He was an all-around athlete. Don't get me wrong. Athletic, but not. He can't hoop. That he can't do.
Awful.
I want to see if we don't get LeVar and MJ. I just want to see LeVar and Skip, because it's a battle of the single-digit high school points per game. Let's see who can get to 10 points first. It might be an hour game still.
That game might not finish, man. It might call it with a truce to the end.
Don't sleep on Skip, though, man. He works it every day, eh?
He does. Yeah.
Skip does work out. He does work out a lot.
Every day.
Anybody else? What excited you about the preseason, or even if not that, what are you looking forward to for this season?
Y'all know what I'm gonna say already, man. See that Laker banner fall, y'all know what it is already, man. Seeing Patrick Beverly like over there beacon and Clippers got beat by my bench.
Again,
I love
by the
it.
bench, bro.
By the bench. I love it. We had our top 5 guys out and they got beat by our bench. I love it. Bron's over there dancing and shit. I love it, man. I love it.
I'm still on record that Kawhi is gonna fight PG by the end of the season. So this is yeah. I feel like Kawhi's like, I did everything to get you on my team, and what are you doing? Like, you have pandemic P trending. It started to trend again after he signed his extension. Like, it was, the internet is ruthless. And Kawhi, even not really being a part of the internet, he still sees and he still hears all the criticisms, right? So I think if anybody's gonna fight, it's Kawhi and Paul George.
I heard Paul George is working with the trainer that he was working with when he got MVP.
Yeah,
something like that.
He didn't get MVP, but
he was in the running. He was in the running.
Yeah, in the running.
Like,
Yeah.
When he was at Indiana, so like, yeah, he's going back to his roots and stuff, but
Yeah, I know.
It's a different time.
yeah, man.
Yeah,
Different
time
time.
caught
You're
up
going
with
against
him.
different athletes. Why did you wait all this time to return back to the man who got you where you did?
Man needs to put down the PlayStation 5.
Facts. That's facts, bro.
Any final thoughts, and then we'll move to the next one.
Murray, Jamal Murray. I am excited to see what happens because now we get to see him play it all out, right?
Yeah.
I am excited to see what kind of damage he does.
Also, I want to see KD tonight, man. I want to see return to KD.
So he is playing tonight. He's playing tonight.
Even if he plays 10 minutes, I just want to see the return of KD because like let's not all forget like KD at his best is the second best player in the NBA, right? So let's not.
KD's nice.
KD's
nice. I don't care what no one says. He's nice.
Man with a jumper, bro. And I handle.
Right. So him coming back, I want to see that, and I also want to see the snowball kind of start with him and Kyrie kind of going at each other because they're not going to click at all. So I want to see that start from like exhibition game 1.
So you don't think they'll click for real?
I don't think so.
I think they'll click, man. I think they'll click.
Kyrie has never averaged over what 5 assists in the season.
I know he's capable of doing it.
For sure, he can pass. Like he's a basketball player. He's an elite basketball player. So to say he cannot pass the ball and cannot create is blasphemous. Of course, he could do. He's elite. He can do whatever he wants. But just like how they put James Harden with them, like 9-10 years in the league, you are who you are. So Kyrie's not going to come down and try and turn into all of a sudden Chris Paul or try to get guys involved all the time because his natural instincts as a ball player, your instincts are going to take over. Like what you've done in high school, you're going to
continue to do.
Can't break those bad habits. He's a scoring guard.
Exactly. Yeah. Like, you're going to do that from high school to pros. Yeah, you might change your game here and there, but like down to the roots, like you're going to be like, if Kyrie has one-on-one and he has KD open, he's not going to kick it to KD. He's going to go for it. Or if he does start kicking it to KD, he's going to take away from his game because he's not going to know where to kind of fit in. You know what I mean? So,
someone's going to have to sacrifice.
Pardon me?
But I think Steve Nash can help him.
I think he'll average his most amount of assists for his career this season. Like,
if he's going to pick and pop with KD.
I could see, because you're looking at how the team is constructed, like even just say the starting 5, having somebody like Amari as the big man coach,
Steve Nash there
with Nash too to teach the pick and roll with DeAndre Jordan, right? And then you have the pick and pop with KD and Joe, and then you can space the floor with Joe Harris. Like I could see him averaging
8-9. Let's not get carried away. Come on now.
7-8.
Man said 9 assists. Let's not get carried away.
I say 7-8.
7, yeah, maybe 7. We'll see. But then if he's put up 7 assists a game, he's going to be around 20 points a game. Is Kyrie going to be okay with only averaging 20 a game?
I mean, if you're trying to win, you got to sacrifice.
Sacrifice, man.
Got to get the ego out of the way, man.
He said he's not going to talk to the media, so we won't know.
On that, we're on the next topic, man.
Next topic. So last night, everybody was all men were scared because they thought their woman was going to be very emotional on this Verzuz between Ashanti and Keyshia Cole. And shortly before, everybody got prepared and they were ready. They knew what to do. Some people were on lockdown and they still were going to leave and go into their car and listen to it from there, just to be out of the house. But we found out that Ashanti tested positive for COVID. Then the internet did what the internet does and said Ashanti got scared and started ducking. And the narrative kind of changed towards it. So the question to you guys are, if this Verzuz went down last night and they rescheduled it to January 9th, I believe it is.
Yeah, the 9th.
Who do you have winning? And do you think it will be a blowout?
Okay.
Honestly,
the real question is, how much is Ashanti going to win by?
Hold on. You can't say that.
I'm with you.
Keyshia Cole's nice.
Keyshia Cole's a better singer. But
She is
because of
by
production
far
she
the
had
better
with-
singer, for sure. Better singer, for sure. She's 100% better singer. But if we're going,
Ashanti has more hits.
Way more hits.
Because of Ja Rule and the whole.
If we're going track
Very ink and everything. Yeah.
She has a lot of power behind her. Keyshia Cole has a better voice though.
100%.
Yeah, hands down.
100%.
He made better albums too. Keyshia Cole made better albums.
As a body, as a whole, like Keyshia Cole is the better artist. We all pretty much.
You know why she's a better artist though?
Most definitely.
Better artist.
You want to know why she's a better artist? Because she's more nuts. She's been through more pain.
It's factual.
She went through way more things. I'm telling you, her mom is crazy. You ever think her mom? You guys remember the TV show? I used to tune in.
Frankie.
Yeah. So she has way more to speak about.
All right, here's Keyshia Cole's advantage right now. If a woman, over the holiday they did not get the presents that they wanted, Keyshia Cole is winning because you're gonna hear once I should have cheated came on and all this stuff. Yeah, she's gonna think back to that horrible gift you gave for Christmas. They're in there like, yeah, I don't want to hear no happy. Like,
you guys never heard when she was dating Bow Wow, she keyed Bow Wow's car or something like that?
Yeah.
I never heard that, but I don't doubt it.
Exactly. See?
I don't know.
Keyshia, she has a lot, like so many stories with her. There's so many stories with Keyshia Cole. So many stories. Ashanti has been in hiding for there's nothing. You don't hear anything about Ashanti.
The last thing we heard about from Ashanti was from like her being on Tory Lanez the Chicks tape.
I didn't even. Oh yeah, I remember that too.
But like nothing controversial, like nothing crazy controversial though.
Yeah.
Wasn't she talking to Nelly at one point too?
Yeah.
He said that her breath stinks or something on live. They asked about what, because they asked him what would you complain about her, and then like the one thing I complain about her is her breath stinks. We used to make fun of her sideburns too, no?
That's crazy.
You guys remember her sideburns?
Yeah.
I think she needs a hair removal or some shit.
Man.
No, don't sleep. She's a baddie now. Don't sleep. She was always bad, though. She was always bad, but now she's like, whoa.
Now she's top tier.
She was always pretty though to me.
How old is she right now? Late 30s?
Must be.
Yeah,
She gotta be 38, 39.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah, easily.
She's putting on some good weight, that's for sure.
Ashanti at one point, I think, had the highest amount of touching her own hair in a music video ever. And I was like, this is pretty ridiculous. And then Keyshia Cole, like you said, her family is nuts. Yeah. When you hear those stories about her, you're like, all right, cool. But then I went back and I kind of was trying to do matchup of solo songs against each other.
Mm-hmm.
If it's solo songs, I have Keyshia Cole winning. The problem with Ashanti, with Keyshia Cole facing Ashanti is just the features. Like if you go solo tracks
and her hooks, as we said, Keyshia Cole is a better artist. So like, if we're putting like her solo body of work up against Ashanti's solo body of work, Keyshia Cole has way more tracks that are her own, like are her own things where she's featuring like Shine or whoever else she's featuring on her tracks for sure. But if you look at like just track for track, the catalog, like how we would say it with like Pharrell or Missy, and we put them together, like it'll just be like catalog versus catalog. I think Ashanti blows her out the water.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dance still.
Yo, you guys think that they would have Ja Rule come on as a special guest for her?
I hope
now
not.
they have the time.
Nah, I think they're gonna
Not
wait
even for
till
a song or two?
they need Ja Rule to have his own.
Yeah.
Where is Ja Rule right now? Where is
They know what that will bring, and they're gonna try to bring up well, I think 50 said he would be down for it too. So
trying to get
No,
50
said no, he wouldn't do it against.
Oh, did he say no?
He said
okay.
He said no.
Okay.
I'm going against it, man. Just think about that. Why would 50 allow that to happen?
I know.
It wouldn't make sense.
50 said he would. 50 said he'll go up against the game. He said he.
Oh, there. Yeah, my bad.
He
He
would-
would,
he would-
the game. You're right.
That makes more sense because the whole Jimmy Henchman thing and all that type of stuff. But the reason why he doesn't want to do it like Ja Rule is because the history behind it is serious.
They got actual.
Yeah. He has beef with like Supreme Team.
But if Jeezy,
Man.
Gucci can do it.
Can't compare it. Can't compare it.
Can't compare them. One actually got hits.
Yeah.
Gucci Man never got shot. He shot people, but imagine a person getting shot 9 times, surviving, and then trying to face. No, I'm not doing it.
And the alleged people that were involved in it were rappers on the label too.
Yeah. No.
Like that's a different thing. If they bring those, if Ja instantly wants to win, like he brings out the old Murder Inc. You know what I mean? And then all of a sudden there's no verses anymore. Like it's
that would have to be like 2 separate locations in New York. Like
hell yeah.
Like these guys are in Yonkers, these guys are like maybe 2 separate. Like they couldn't be in.
Bro, that would be amazing though, man.
That'd be crazy.
That would be amazing to hear clap back.
Yeah. Hey yo, Jeffrey. Here, bust it. Hey, yo, Jeffrey, come up.
The one I will say before we move on to the next topic is I was listening to the Joe Budden podcast and he called Jim Jones and asked about G Unit versus Dipset.
Yeah.
And I thought that would be a tough one. And then
tough, yeah.
Jim Jones said that would never happen. But he could see G Unit versus Lux.
Hello, what?
I don't think so.
I don't know about that.
It wouldn't even stand a chance.
I don't think so.
It wouldn't even stand a chance.
Unit versus D Block is not a thing to me. D Block's career is too long, man.
Yeah, man.
Like, I don't think so.
Like
it is
for me.
But solo career wise, because you don't have to. Because if you look at Cam and those guys, they went platinum, right?
Yeah.
Lux didn't go platinum, or their solo careers didn't go platinum. So like the hits wise goes a little bit different. It's like the mainstream versus the underground for real,
exactly.
Right? And
That's why it doesn't make sense.
But it's the Fab Jada. It's like the group version of Fab Jada.
Yeah.
Because Jada was for the streets, right? And Fab is more the commercial person. So it's kind of like that, but in group version, which is why it was more intriguing to me. Because I'm like, if you go solo streets compared to the solo hits, it's still a matchup, right? Reservoir Dogs versus I don't know. Like I'm just think it's just a different feel when you listen to both of them back to back. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yo, also, Francis.
It would be June 50.
Which one called Irv Gotti? He wanted J Lo on the What's Love the single with Ashanti. He wanted J Lo instead of Ashanti on there.
I don't doubt it. She at the time she was the bigger hit, the bigger name. So like,
I don't know. I can't really picture that right now. It's kind of weird to me.
But Ashanti does have like a version of the Tamia and Fab, right? So she has her own kind of stuff in there, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, like at the time, J-Lo was definitely the bigger draw for sure. So to have her, because at that time, Ja Rule was the bell cow, right? He was the person kind of pulling Murder Inc. So to have him accompanied with J-Lo, like that's does
crazy.
More numbers.
She can still use that song because she has writing credits on it.
Yeah.
Who? Shanti?
Yeah, she has writing credits on that song. So
yeah, but I wouldn't want to use that. Like,
hey, if John Legend can pull out a Lauryn Hill track because he played two keys on it, I can pull out anything I have a writing credit on. All right, Coach.
All right. So basically, what I'm gonna do, like, so in the group we have people from like all over the place. Like, Black is beautiful, right? So we got Africa. We got Jamaica. We got people from all over the place. So this little game I'm gonna do right now, I'm gonna show a picture up on the screen, and y'all just tell the audience to tell us basically what y'all call this, where you're from. Simple.
Yeah.
All right. Cool.
Yep.
All right, let's get to it. Oh. We'll do this. Damn.
My first time using Zoom. This is actually lit.
All right, so first one is this right here. What y'all call this? Where you're from, man?
Boo boo. I thought I phlegm in the eye, bro.
Boo boo. Crust in the eyes.
Boo boo. Yeah.
Who said boo boo? Who said boo boo?
Guyana. Boo boo.
Oh, boo boo. Okay.
I call that a white person's eye.
Yeah.
No. White person's eye.
Oh, man.
We call this mata in Jamaica.
Oh, you talking about the quarter piece right there? Yeah, mata for sure.
Mata, yeah, I call it mata. And then I know like some people call it yampi and shit. So
Yampi.
All right, yampi. All right, next one.
Shit, bro.
Next one. Here's the next one. Ready?
Ah, man.
Like Guinnep?
Guinnep,
right?
Yeah.
Or lychee. Guinnep or lychee? I think Guinnep still.
Guinnep, yeah, it's Guinnep.
Guinnep, lychee.
Okay, all right. Next one. Up next. Y'all call this?
Bag juice.
Bag? What is that? Juice bag?
Do you say bag juice?
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Bag juice. Huh?
Chicken?
Almost done them type of things. You see what I said, big dog? Bag juice,
We used to call it suck.
Yeah.
See, that's even that's the thing too, though. My mom would approve that too.
Yeah.
Wasn't a thing for us.
We just call it. That's the funny. As kids, we just called it ice back here.
Okay.
Oh, damn.
Ice bag?
Yeah,
Ice.
no.
Ice.
But it's like ice, different flavors. So it would be like ice and then whatever else. Like if you had ice in flavor, they would pineapple ice, but local.
Okay.
So we just call it ice as kids.
Okay, cool. That's cool.
Funny how this goes across continents. So.
Exactly. Yeah, I know. Like that's why I want to do this, because we got like different people on.
Yeah.
We all know what it is, but we all call it something different.
Something different. Exactly.
I like bag juice though.
Yeah, juice bag for me. Juice bag for me.
Juice bag, bag juice, suck. You got ice.
We don't have that in Winnipeg.
Hey, I will say this: in Winnipeg, you better not eat the yellow snow, man. That's for sure.
Winnipeg is the most flattest place in the world. Okay?
Hey, don't diss my birth city, okay?
Black people don't eat snow though.
Black people shouldn't be eating snow.
I don't think black people eat snow still.
I mean, I agree,
don't Winnipeg. I've never tried it.
But Winnipeg, there's not a lot of
Might
black
be
people
different
out there, you know. So
yeah.
All right, next one. We got next one up.
Avocado.
There we go.
Yep.
Pear
I eat
or
that every
avocado,
day.
all depending on what side of the family is talking about it.
Avocado. That's it.
Call it pear.
We call it.
Oh yeah. My dad says pear too.
My mom says pear.
Jamaican.
I always knew that's pear initially.
Jamaicans, man, come on, man. Do they even really care about how to pronounce words anyway?
Yo, they don't. Yeah.
Yo, man. I'm not here for the slander, huh?
Hey, you just
Listen, your game, man. You gotta deal with it.
Even though I'm not from Jamaica, I'm a proud Jamaican, bro. Like, you know, like we're the most. I feel like there's reasons for us to be prideful. So
Yeah.
no, they do. They do care.
For sure.
They do care how they sound, but it's only when they get a phone call.
when you make a person say pass the sinting and you don't know what the sinting is, you're just like, all right, so what do I pass the person?
It could be
Pass the
anything.
sinting. It could be anything.
It could be anything, you know.
Well, you know what the thing is.
Yeah, you know
that thing over there.
all right. Yeah, another one. What's this?
Oh man.
Aloe vera.
Yo, my mom used to put that shit on me, bro.
Yeah, it's good for your skin.
Sir.
Yeah.
Good for your stomach too, actually.
Yeah.
It's really
I
good.
don't know, with the aloe.
It's like I know people who call it Cinco Bible. I know people who call it healing plants.
Yeah.
Aloe vera. So there's many names for that for sure. But yeah,
But it's good. It's good for you though, man.
very good.
Drink that aloe water.
Yeah, you
Yeah.
Yeah.
That green bottle,
Yeah, for sure. All right, next one. We got next one right here.
Oh man.
bro.
Come on, man.
Not bro. Eat that with some hardo bread.
Hard over your devil.
My parents call this Dutchy gal.
Wow.
What?
Wow.
Dutchy gal. Because think about it. It's fish, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
And it's fish and blood or tomato sauce.
Oh.
Okay.
Nice.
Yeah.
That's
I
wild.
see what you're saying.
Honestly, I stopped eating that. I was in the grocery store the other day, and a Jamaican walked past me. He's see me looking at the thing. He's like, "That's dog food." I'm like, yo, bro. I'm like, yo, what the fuck? Because it's so cheap. When you think about it, cheap stuff is not really good for you, and you just like this thing's sitting in a can. It doesn't expire till next year. Just like, bro, it's dog food. You know.
I will say that while I volunteered at a food bank, there's so much like mackerel and tuna, like canned tuna that comes in there. I was like, I don't know if I can eat this stuff anymore, man. I got
What about
elevate.
the corned beef? Though?
Corned beef.
The corned beef is like dog food too, but that came clutch for me when I was a kid.
Like, hey,
And spam.
if you think about it, most of like I was talking to a friend back in the day, or like last week. Most of the food that Black people really, really, really enjoy is like trash food, like oxtail. Is like trash food, right?
Yeah,
and like chicken back and like those kind of those kind of things are like not considered good food. That's trash food.
Yeah, it isn't.
But like that shit tastes good, man.
Yeah.
You ain't lying, brother.
For us, for Guyanese, pepper pot. It's not healthy, but that's good stuff, man.
Yeah.
Facts. So, all right, next one. We got next one here. You'll call this.
I'm befuddled here. I don't know what this is.
Yeah, me too. What is this?
I know what it is.
June plum or
Alum plum. That's what we call it.
Yeah. There's like in Jamaica we call it June plum.
Yeah.
June plum. I never knew that was June plum.
It's right, but it can be very sour and green when it's not.
Yeah. Y'all call
Callaloo?
Oh man.
Come on.
Is this callaloo? What is this?
Yeah, callaloo.
Sure.
Okay.
Yo, we have this every morning, then, bro.
Fried bake, fried dumpling.
Come on, yeah, fried dumpling or some fucking breadfruit. You're on the way.
Good. You're good to go.
Let me. I'm gonna give you guys a quick, because I know this is a safe space. I'll give you guys a quick story about it. So when I first moved down to Jamaica, my dad cooked up some callaloo, right? But because I'm so used to hearing how bad spinach and like all that stuff was, I never ate it. But there's a whole party going on outside, and my dad says you can't join the party till you finish your callaloo. I sat at that table for 3 hours and did not move and just stared at it. And then when I finally tried it, I was like, "Yo, this is good."
Yeah. Facts.
That's true.
Yeah. All right, next one. We got next one here.
Oh, come on. Classic.
Plantain.
Fried plantain.
Everybody calls it plantain.
No plantain. No plantain.
Excuse me. That looks like some plantain.
Yo, who said plantain?
Plantain.
No, wait, stop.
Plantain.
Hally said, Hally,
Not
plantain.
Plantain, man. You gotta say with an A.
Who said plantain?
With an I-N in there.
Hally said that.
I-N for me.
Fried plantain.
Guys, we all say plantain. Plantain.
He said plantain.
Tam said plantain.
When you got a fountain, what do you say fountain?
No, I said
Say that again?
No, I think
So you know
said
fountain, water going out. How do you pronounce that? Do you say fountain?
Plantain.
I'm just trying to figure out any other place where you use A-I-N. How do you guys pronounce it?
West Indian people just say how they want to say it.
That's the only way we know how to say it.
That's it.
Yeah, come on, man. The English word was, it's not for us, man. The English language is a slave language. No disrespect. That's what it is. So we use it the way we want to use it. With slang, however we want to.
The English language is the most difficult language in the world.
Yeah.
It's complex. How many tools are there?
Very, very complex.
Too many.
Too many.
Too many. That's it. Facts.
And as a Jamaican, we know that tree could either be a tree that's standing or the number.
Facts.
Wait, hold on. You see tree? You see tree, right? I was watching Shrek yesterday, and he said something smart. He's like, "Yo, so for Christmas, you guys put a Christmas tree inside?" They're like, "Yeah." She's like, "Why would you put a Christmas tree? Why do you put a tree inside your house?" I'm like, "I'm outside." I'm like, "For what?"
All education.
Holidays, man.
Yeah.
I was watching. So like I was watching the Frozen thing with my daughter last night.
Yeah.
And Olaf. So I'm gonna give a little. This is crazy, but Olaf said, for Christmas, a tradition is we cut down a tree and we take his rotting corpse and we hang it up in our house and we hang decorations on it.
Wow.
Crazy, bro.
That's deep.
This is how you can tell mans are growing old. If you guys are watching Shrek and
I'm not watching on my own. I'm watching it with my daughter.
Honestly, it was just on TV. My mom was watching it.
Yo, all I hear right now are a bunch of excuses. I know damn sure that coach's daughter wasn't even looking at the screen. He was there.
I'll be honest with you. I mess with Shrek. I watch Harry Potter.
I'm still a child at heart. I'm not gonna lie. I still have that inside of me. You know.
I watched Dragon Ball this morning.
Is sick. And obviously, there are always these little jokes that are in there that are not meant for kids.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, if you go back and watch them, like crazy.
Every single time.
Crazy.
A lot of subliminals.
All right, yo, last one. Ready?
Oh, man. I want Fanford to answer this.
That's curry chicken, no?
Chicken curry to some, curry chicken to others.
I don't say chicken curry, I say curry chicken. Fried chicken, stewed chicken. You can't put chicken and then put stew after. I don't know why people say that. It's curry chicken to me.
It's curry chicken.
I think Guyanese people say chicken curry.
Yeah.
Listen, those are the brown Guyanese people. The blacks, it's different.
Oh, okay.
Blacks and browns say it two different ways.
Yeah.
That's the thing.
That's a good thing to do. Yeah, that's a good thing.
A lot of people tend to well, I guess they don't seem to realize is that, Guyana is Afro and Indo.
Yep.
But then it also has it's Portuguese portion and everything like that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But there are cultural differences. But I guess not everybody clarifies those kind of things. Just looking at it as Guyana, one country, and everything like that. But there are some big cultural differences between.
If we're getting deeper into it as well, like most of the islands are inherited by, like for instance, like Jamaica, like the second language there is Spanish.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Right. So like and then in like Trinidad and stuff, like also Spanish as well. So like most of the islands have like that other cultural influence in them, right? So. But yeah, so just for clear, it's not chicken curry.
Agreed.
All right, y'all. That's all I got, yo. That's all I got. Thank you.
That was a good game. I like that game.
Yeah.
On this call, how many people are Jamaican?
Sorry?
How many people on this call are Jamaican?
I'm half Jamaican.
My background's Jamaican.
Background, same thing.
So it sounds like 4 people are Jamaican. So
yeah.
Cool.
All right, yo. So this is for the guests on here. I want y'all to kind of take us through your journey, man. Like, how have you guys been able to be successful in what you guys are doing? Like, how have you kind of built that path for yourself?
Who started?
Any of them.
Want me to start?
Yeah, you can start.
So the journey for me was just consistency and not taking things personal. But at first it was hectic. It was just like, what are we doing right now? And then we got to the point where we're just like, okay, let's give us some free hats. Let's give us free hats and see where it goes, because we were the only people wearing the hat.
Mm-hmm.
And then it went to the point where people invited us to certain things like Mod Club. We went to Mod Club and we brought 30 hats and we gave them all up for free. And that's what really pushed us in a direction to know where we're going to some degree. You know, if you can expand on that, Beats.
Yeah, I think we went with this thing of giving away something for free, which is hats, because it was an easy, cheap thing to make. It stands out because the logo is so vibrant. You wear it on your head in the summer, and like at the end of the day, like not everyone gets something for free. So how can you turn that down? You know what I mean? So that was the key, and like this wasn't done like on purpose. This was done by accident because we like making our own custom clothes for ourselves. Like you go into Nike and a pair of joggers is $120. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So our journey started like that, and from there on it just the ball got rolling, and t-shirts and etc. And like going to these events and being visible with like colors and stuff. If you see the hoodies, like a yellow hoodie, that's gonna stand out in a club or like just the mall, you know. And like networking with people it's got us to where we are today. But yeah,
I think that was a smart move on both your part. You know, just like as you said, not everybody gets something for free, and it's especially if it's you know just people around you and everything like that. Because for example, like because you guys are with VG, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, for me, like I've seen it. I didn't know who the faces were behind it, but I know I've seen that those big thick letters. You see them from anywhere you're standing. You see them.
Look on this hoodie right here too.
So I mean, in order for you to get somewhere, you guys obviously made an investment. It's and also, you know, you have to take a loss in order to make the gain, right? Yeah, so and that's exactly what you guys did. You guys spent the money for your product instead of just trying to sell it. You guys gave it out first, and it's easy marketing. And I think a lot of people refuse to do that. It's just like, unfortunately, sometimes you have to take those small losses, but look how you know how you guys have benefited from it, right? The community around now has seen your product, even though you haven't made your money yet. In the long run, the money comes, right?
Yeah,
so
right there, what I take from that, what you just said, is that we built value so we can gain profit in the long run.
100%.
So by us building value is the most key thing ever. A lot of people always want to look for the profit, but I think building value was a major thing.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It was more so
always taking care of those first customers too. Those first customers, you should treat them like your neighbors because they were here first. So always go back to them, check up on them. How you doing? Oh, you purchased this, I'll throw in something free for you. Always keep it like that. Keep it cordial and nice with your main customers. Always.
That's true. That's true.
Just quickly, I'm just trying to find your clothing brand. You guys have social media?
Yeah.
What's the name on Insta?
Voler Garconz. Yeah, sorry.
VOL
ERGARCONZ.227.
.227?
Yeah.
Okay, find you guys.
Okay, I can't find it. Can somebody just drop it in the chat window?
Yes, that's it right there with the rock signs. Yeah, that right there.
I don't know how you can see it, but yeah.
We'll
I guess somebody drop in the chat window. I just wanted to check it out.
Yeah, we'll drop it in there. But like, what about you guys, Hally and Sam?
My crazy. So I'll let Sam go in first.
Well, mine isn't anything too crazy. Mine's just about, uniting the community, bringing our Black brothers together.
That's something amazing, bro. Let me cut you off for a second and say that's not something you should just throw underneath the fucking.
No, and you're right. You're
that up like it's the CN Tower, brother.
Thank you, brother. But so it pretty. I mean, for me, I guess how it started off was it was all based off of an experience that I had, right? Because I traveled down to the South a lot. I'm always like in Houston, Texas. And, I was over there visiting some family. And then, the opportunity came about to kind of network, with some guys down there because I was looking to do some business and stuff like that. And so, they were going to be having, they're going to be having a group shoot and everything like that. So I'm like, all right, yeah, I'm down for it. I'll be there. And so as I was there, it was very empowering. It was just like this, right? It's a safe space for Black men. And it was the conversations, everything that was kind of going on there. And I was just like, man, I love this. I love this unity. I love this empowerment. It was such a beautiful experience. I was like, yo, you know what? I want this to happen in Toronto as well, because I mean, we can always watch it from, the outside and see, okay, these guys in the States are doing this. Oh, these guys in Europe are doing that. But it's like, well, we have to do for ourselves. So somebody's got to do it. So, of course, came back home and, homie of mine, he had kind of seen, everything that I was doing, was part of over there. So he's like, yo, what can we do in order to push our Black men forward, especially because a lot of the women were having those brunches, right? There was a lot of those, women empowerment brunches. And I was just like, man, you know what? Like our Black men, like we need to, just something, even if it's something small, it's something, So I was like, all right, this is what we're going to do. We're going to have the shoot and you're going to see what's going to happen. And so he's like, all right, cool. Contacted a couple of Black men, boom, boom, boom. And the thing is there's the imagery, of course, because it's also, showing us in a different light. Because you can do things like you can go on Google and you start looking for, you type in like successful men. It's very, you don't get to see, we don't see ourselves.
Yeah.
Right. And things like that. It's not the norm to see ourselves in certain categories. But you'll always see the stereotypical, which there's nothing wrong with being a successful athlete or a successful artist. There's nothing wrong with that. But we're also in a bunch of other lanes. So that's pretty much what happens at the shoots. Is like you have guys who are in all different lanes, and now you're able to come together and have these conversations, and you're able to network with other Black men, and it's about creating that community, right? And yeah, it just from one shoot, and then it just kind of trickled over, and it just went boom, 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 and people reaching out wanting to be a part, and we had some news coverage as well, and yeah, it's been an amazing process. Things kind of slowed down, of course, due to COVID. We were supposed to have our last shoot in October, and the expectation, because typically, our first shoot, we did like maybe 15 guys. The next one, it grew to like 30, like 35 guys. It was unexpected. Yeah. And then this one, I was like, okay, fine. I'm going to throw it on the page and announce it. And it was like 150 guys who hit me.
That's
right. And so it was like, all right, well, let's do this. And then boom, the restriction came down. We could only have gathering of 20, I think it was like 25. Mm-hmm. And so then that takes out, I have to X some people out because then the photographer gets in, is within those numbers, the videographer, and it's like, okay, well, people are like, yo, just do it anyways. But then I'm like, the issue is that if the moment a bunch of Black people gather, everybody's paying attention, right? And I didn't want the narrative being changed on, change on us and be like, okay, well, look, these Black people, they choose not to they choose to go against the rules. And I was like, you know what? That's not what I'm trying to do, right? So I was like, yo, let's put on a pause. Of course, guys are like, yo, guys are getting custom suits made. Guys are paying like $100 for haircuts because everybody was ready to go. But I had to put the halt on it. But there will be more moving forward once we we're trying to fine tune some things so we can work within the means of this, whole COVID thing. But
yeah,
I'm telling you, once we open up,
taking off.
Yeah, we're taking off. So
I rate it.
Yeah, man. Thank you.
Well, that's amazing because I feel like Black people play themselves sometimes because anything that we actually put our mind to that we can accomplish.
Successful.
Tiger Woods, he did golf. Serena Williams. Do we need to talk about everything we enter and we actually just conquer? Hockey,
exactly.
Brothers, like we just kill everything that we actually put our mind to. So, in Atlanta, I like Atlanta as well because they build a lot too, like just buying property back and
Black ownership. Yep.
Yeah, I love that stuff. That stuff's amazing, motivational.
For sure.
Togetherness, brother.
And like if you kind of look at it like this platform, this podcast we have right now, it's kind of a trickle down effect of all that because like we all kind of jumped on this being in the chat room. You know what I mean? Like, and then like if you look on like this platform right now, we got 8 Black brothers on here from different walks of life, different business ventures, different things, and we're all here kind of uniting together. So like this is definitely something where I've been like I've been pushing this kind of into the forefront for sure. So what Sam's doing is very, very important. So appreciate that for sure.
No, I envy you guys when I hear the stories of what you guys are doing because it sounds like there's so much of what you guys are doing too. The reason I said my story is a little bit complicated because I prematurely left Canada because I actually had to sort out my paperwork. So naturally coming in, I did my university there, and then you have, I think 3 years after you graduate at the time. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
No. So like for me, 3 years after you graduate, you can work. But then after the 3 years, you got to go through the whole process of getting your PR and all of that. So when that time came, I had to stop working for a little bit to sort out my paperwork. And I was sitting down for a while and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time I go home while this paperwork gets itself sorted out.
Yeah.
And came back. And at the time, my father was starting a petroleum company here. So I was helping out with that for a few years. And today, where we are now, the company, like I said, it's the biggest petroleum company in the country. So I'm trying to compare it to like, what's a big gas station in Canada now?
Yes,
I know
Canada.
So it's kind of like that, except we have a total of 28 petrol stations in the country.
That's big.
So
That's amazing.
And we could do quite a lot of other stuff as well. We fuel airlines, we do cooking gas, quite a few different things. So I've been looking after that business now for about 3 years. But even when I was in Canada, I was always somebody who just liked business. So everything from organizing events to freelance graphic design. Some point I was working anything that you could do to just make some money. I mean, I still remember the last event that I did for one of my previous businesses was actually with Senator. I don't know if you remember.
Twerk versus
Big Sean? Hey, was that Big Sean?
No.
The Big Sean was September.
Okay.
And then Twerk versus Bubble.
Twerk versus Bubble.
Yeah.
And that one there was something different because that's around the time when I was really taking DJing seriously, and I did a few events at U of T, and I was getting I was regularly there for their Black Alliance parties. I was always the one that they called for it, and we realized that we got something dope. And I remember Hally telling me this. He was like, "We need to do an event because they did a boat cruise for the first time, and they announced myself and Sean Stealth as the only DJs for the night, and the boat sold out in like 20 minutes. They had to. Wow. They actually had to get a next boat to accommodate all the ticket sales that were coming in. Mm-hmm. So we decided to do Twerk versus Bubble, and we sold out the entire club, and it was about 800 people that were able to fit, and that was our first event. And we even had DJ Superstar Jay from New York. He was booked for another club, and he showed up to our club. It was
that's amazing.
It was crazy.
Those were some different times, man. When I look back now, I'm like, we tried to do a lot in that space because we all used
very quickly, very quickly. Like we went from that,
but we just had to figure out a way to just figure out, okay, fine, we've been partying for so long. How do we start making money? How do we start
There we go.
So that's kind of how that. Pretty much. At some point, I was trying to start a clothing line too, but we never really got that off the ground. I mean, I had some partners, and at the time, there was so much noise around the university because they weren't trying to have us have events. Yeah. Because we started organizing events that were bigger than the university's events. And they kind of started feeling that, you know what, we're kind of taking a little bit away from some of the university's events. And at the time, I still remember that we had just graduated. So it just became this issue of, oh, these guys are no longer even students. Like these guys are just graduated and they're still trying to make money off of the students. So it was kind of, there was a lot of noise around the time. So we just figured at some point that, you know what, it's not even worth it.
So but yes, they wanted the alumni to pay the school, get your education and just leave. Don't make money off of our clients.
And it was crazy because we always, anytime there was an event, they would call me. We would show up. It was always sold out, and it was reaching the point where when they threw their event, they would be like, I would get a bunch of messages. I didn't even know that the school was doing anything, and like I'd get a random message, like my phone would blow up, like, "Yo, why aren't you here DJing this? Like, why aren't you here?" Like, and I'm like, because it's not the Black Alliance event. I'm not. I only come through for that one. So, yeah.
Those some good times, man.
What school is this?
U of T.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Sam, this is back when myself, Mars, and Mox were all Good Time Sound.
Okay. No, it's a little while back. Yeah. Okay.
That's when we had the.
This is like 8 years ago, man. I still remember.
That's when we had the friggin' radio station, bro.
Yeah,
was this? Oh, hold on. I remember. I remember.
We had Good Times. We had Good Times Radio, and then I used to always get booked for the Black Alliance stuff. So I was always at the school, and then Mox got his show after, and then we started to
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Next.
All right, fellas. We've all dealt with failure or moments where we thought about quitting or giving up. What were some of those moments for you guys, and how did you guys kind of navigate through all that?
Go first.
Failure? I don't know. I don't believe in failure, man. I just feel like it's just lessons. You just keep learning and figuring it out as you go. Failing is like, okay, you just give up. That's what I consider failing sometimes. Like you just give up and you just like, I don't want to do this anymore. Like you only tried for a certain amount of times and you're just like, I'm done. But a big obstacle for me was organizing my brain to shift my energy into the more important things. Because before, at one point when I was younger, my brain was just fucking everywhere. Like girls, this, that, bunch of distractions. But as I got to this place, I'm like, okay, I have to actually be on top of this. So let me put my attention actually into VG. Let me put my attention into family. Let me put my attention into all the important things. And then everything else started trickling down and fixing itself. But those things were the first thing. That's what I realized about myself. That was a big obstacle for me because I was drinking a lot, doing, all that young guy stuff, man. Just doing the most, man. Chasing tail, man. Chasing tail. I was chasing tail.
Hey, some guys live that life forever,
I know.
Forever.
Guess the best.
Yeah. But that was a cycle that I got stuck in. I'm just like, damn, I need to get out of this cycle. What's the first step? But then I started talking to my business partner, because me and my business partner, we knew each other since 4 and 2. So we communicated about everything. So as time went on, he'd be like, yo, I'm fixing this in my life. I'm like, let me fix that in my life too. And I'll tell him I'm fixing things. And maybe that led to him fixing something. But whenever, I'll tell you, it's so weird. He lost his license. I had my license. So I was doing the deliveries for the brand. I lost my license. He had his license. He was doing the deliveries for the brand. So it's just, something always worked out for us, man. Always worked out some way, somehow.
Business.
I say for me, like, I believe the same thing is like, I don't really believe in failure. There is obstacles and like, with this brand, like, I don't think even if it was to fail, I feel more content and at peace with actually putting my full effort in trying to get somewhere with it. I think that even if it doesn't work, that me and this guy would probably jump ship to another country and try to start something else over there, like Japan, or you know what I mean. I don't think it's gonna ever stop with these businesses because I don't know. We're not really into working a job. Like I feel like we have a bigger purpose than just working a 9 to 5 for the rest of our life type of thing. And I really believe in the impossible. So that's how I kind of live my day-to-day thing. Even if you could tell people what your purpose is and what you want to do, and like they're not gonna see it because they're not you. They can't see your perspective. So me and him we're on the same frequency with what we see for our business and what we see for life. For obstacle, I say like one of my biggest ones in the last year or two was like my energy, like my body was just speaking to me to be like, yo, you need to fix up because how my body was reacting, how my energy felt inside. And that was my diet. So I just woke up one day, I'm like, I'm not eating no more meats. I'm gonna eat bare fruits and juice and do my exercising on a weekly, daily basis to get my energy up because I was feeling shitty and like my body was reacting to it. So that was probably one of my biggest obstacles in my growth for the past like year or two. But yeah.
Nope.
I mean, for me, as for failure, okay, like, you know, when it comes to, you know, pretty much, you know, what I've been doing, I would say we're still so early in it. I haven't experienced any real failure. If anything, I would just say, you know, maybe there was a couple people here and there tried to, you know, pull along, kind of put on, you know, try to, you know, help them gain kind of exposure here and there, and they just didn't come through the way I thought. So in that sense, I guess I would say maybe I read them wrong. But then again, I had high expectations for them. So yeah, maybe I wouldn't say that was failure per se, but I would say that would have been, you know, one of the many challenges is pretty much, you know, kind of trusting who's gonna, you know, ride along with you throughout the process and, you know, go through it all. So you know what? No, I can't really. It's not something I can really speak on just as yet. But I don't know. Maybe if we revisit this conversation in maybe the next few months after, I want to say really after the pandemic, because I think we're taking a lot of hits all in all, right? So yeah.
It's a lot of trial and error right now. A lot of trial and error. So
So
we get to the next verse.
Yeah. If anything was a failure, I can really only blame it on the pandemic. I can't really say right now that I have done something where I feel I have failed in the aspect of, you know, Black men style. So yeah.
So, brother,
I can't think of anything that's happened recently, but it's actually going to link back to the previous business that I was running. The first event I ever organized in my life, I was probably around 17. And I was organizing it with my boys. It was, I think, about 5 or 6 of us at the time. And the whole night went through. I think we ended up having like 1 or 2 people show up. And we had the whole club rented out. We had the owner expecting the club to be packed. And by the way, yes, at 17 in Gambia, you can club. I mean, people start clubbing here when they're like 14, 15. So that's not a
wow.
People start hitting the club really early out here. It's different. Like those rules just don't work out here. But yeah, so the club was completely empty. But like you guys said earlier, I don't really think of it as failure because it's something that taught me something that stuck with me for the rest of my events career, you could say, is that you kind of have to always just speak it into existence, which is why when we're talking about ball at the start, one of the things is whether it was going to happen or not, he was going to say it's going to happen. I mean, he's telling us that everybody is going to be on the Lakers. It might never happen, but it's just one of those things that you just have to. So even when we organized events, even when we felt that this wasn't going to work out, until the very last minute, you're out there selling it as if this event is already sold out.
100%.
And the reason we didn't pack that particular event was because I had friends at the time who their peoples would call them and be like, hey, I'm on my way with like 5 or 6 people. How's it looking? And they'd be like, oh, you might want to wait a little bit. The place isn't packed yet. So they were kind of embarrassed to have their people come out, and then the party is empty. So they were all trying to save face, but in the long run, the whole thing just kind of flopped. So since then, I'm like,
show up first.
Exactly. Since then, I'm just like, you know what? You just gotta go into it with full confidence and just full steam ahead.
Yeah.
Because it's nothing like hearing the hype man just yelling out, "Yeah, it's still early. We still got time. People on their way. It's live in here." And then you walk in, and then you're like, "Wait, hold on. It's just my people in here right now." Like,
where you at?
I'm gonna the next part quickly. I'll go after you talk.
No, I was just asking him, were you at we actually did another event when we were in Toronto many years later, actually. It was called Stash Out, but I don't know if you were there or not. That was another party that flopped pretty badly.
I was supposed to show up, and I was one of those people that were like, I forget who I hit, and I was like, "Yo, how's it looking?" They're like, "Yo, it doesn't look like one of your parties," and I was like, "All right, so hit me up once it gets closer to that," and I didn't get a message back, so I was like, "All right, cool."
But like I said, man, I think the main thing is that they're just roadblocks, and you just gotta figure out how to overcome them. Like, I never thought of them as failures, because every time I organized a party that wasn't hit, I did something that was 10 times bigger the next time. So never thought ever.
Pushing, man. Keep pushing, brother.
Yeah.
All right, Mayor.
All right, brothers. Who are some of your industry inspirations?
Industry inspirations. You want to start? Who wants to start?
I can go. Okay, I couldn't really like pick someone that was in like the clothing industry. I think Pharrell is one for us, just because like we have similar styles. He's still around, and like we watched him growing up with his Bape stuff and Billionaire Boys Club stuff, and like I don't just look at what someone is wearing. It's also I find it's about the people's their words in their interviews and what they talk about. So Pharrell is one. He kind of stated like you can't really give up on anything that you're doing, whether it's music or clothing. So I think he's an influence for like this style and stuff. I pick a fictional character from a movie as one of like inspiration was fucking Neo from The Matrix, just because like I feel like everyone has an untapped power to themselves. And I feel like I've gotten to that power and I have to learn to harness it. I get different messages from the universe, whether I want to use them or not, to guide me through my daily stuff with life. And it keeps me inspired. It keeps you going because you feel like you're fulfilling a purpose, and that never stops. So Neo is like, as you know, the Neo character in that movie, he gets different messages. He has to make his own choices and see whatever the outcome is, Like he has Morpheus with him, which like Vince could be my Morpheus, you know what I mean? To be like, yo, yeah, do it if you feel that's right. So that's my second.
Go your gut feeling.
Exactly.
And
I always say that, yo. Go with your gut.
Do you guys ever heard of someone?
Intuition, man.
Always intuition, bro. Like, you know how much times intuition has got me out of shit?
Yeah,
100%.
You know how much times,
you shouldn't be there.
Like so much times we're like I'll be somewhere and like someone just say, yo, move to the side, or like just something and just do it. And then before you know it, boom, fight going on.
Let me add on to that story right there. But hold on. Beeks, before you finish your third person, let me tell you something that happened just like 3 weeks ago. There was a guy that me and my business partner was with, and he was a little clumsy. So we're watching him, and at one point we both stepped back at the same time. And 3 seconds after us stepping back, he dropped something that would have hit us if we were like 1 inch closer, 1 step closer. And I couldn't explain it. I just looked at my business partner. I said, you see? And we just started laughing. That was it. You go with your gut feeling, bro. But go ahead, Beast. Finish your third person.
Not to cut you guys, but like I tell.
Oh, sorry about that.
I tell anybody who's around me, like, yo, like, your intuition is like it doesn't lie to you. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it might like make you look like crazy or whatever the case is, but like go with your gut always.
Your antenna, man. It's your antenna.
Straight up, man.
But yeah,
Beaks, go ahead.
I think for the last person, you guys know David Goggins? You guys?
Yep. I know David Goggins.
David Goggins
heard the name.
Like over like 350 pounds at one point.
Yeah.
So like he went to the military and like
the black guy.
Navy SEAL. Yeah. So that guy, like, if you hear about his story, like he lost a bunch of weight and he battled a lot of mental toughness. So I used like his story and my own personal mental toughness to toughen myself. And like he has this thing where he challenges people in authority. So he would challenge the people that are in authority in the Navy SEALs and stuff like that. And he used it to kind of break their souls. And it wasn't like on an evil tip. It was more so like trying to shake them and like really break them. You know, when you're trying to look at a man in his eyes and whoever looks away first, that guy lost.
Yeah.
So he applied that to his own mental toughness, and I kind of live with that too. And he just every day he's just always training. He's always doing what he says he's gonna do. He's up at 4 a.m. doing that, and I feel like that's how you become kind of successful or meet your goal in life. It's like you can't wake up at 3 p.m. I heard someone say you can't wake up at 3 p.m. thinking you're gonna be Jay-Z and Diddy. They didn't make it. You know, they didn't make it that far by waking up late. So I kind of apply that type of logic to my thing from his words.
He's one crazy dude, man. But I rate him, bro.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Yeah, me too. I follow him on Instagram, everything.
Yeah,
but I was like 4 people.
Crazy.
I'll expand on like. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was saying, kind of going off of what Beeks was saying, like.
Yeah.
There's a clip on IG. I'm gonna post it today, but it's a clip that friggin' Steve Harvey is saying, basically, you can't be sleeping 8 hours of the day and trying to be successful, because you sleep 8 hours of the day is basically you taking away a third of your day and a third of your life.
Exactly.
Right. And then you look at it like that, and you look, okay, well, if I'm on the West Coast, right, and I wake up at 8 a.m, I'm already behind the people on the East Coast or whatever, like whatever way it is. But I'm already behind 2-3 hours because they're getting up. The time difference, they're up 2 hours or 3 hours before me, so they already got 3 hours ahead of me. So in order for me to catch up to them, I gotta wake up 3 hours earlier. You know what I mean? So like shit like that, like kind of goes to what you were saying, you know?
Yeah.
I know exactly what you mean. And Steve Harvey is a great person to watch overall. Especially how he explains everything. You listen to his journey. His journey is crazy.
Crazy.
Yeah,
The fact that he went to Apollo and he was the only person to make everyone laugh that night. Everyone else bombed. I can't remember the names that he said, but they were big names. And he was the one who did that. So but I'll add on to Beeks, like people, like growing up right now, like a lot of people don't inspire me like right now because I like just getting ideas for myself. But like growing up, it was Pharrell and Nigo. Those guys are bait people. Then Dapper Dan was a big person for me too.
100%,
because I just like
100%. I was gonna say Dapper Dan.
Yeah, I like that he grabbed like high-end stuff and then made it streetwear. You know what I mean? He made it his type of thing. I like when people do it their way. And then Kanye West, obviously, because he's just whatever. And then Cameron, I love Cameron because even though he didn't design clothing like that, his style was just different. He just did it his way. Maybe it's a big Harlem thing for me and Beeks as well. Like where Harlem people are just like, I don't know what it is about them, but like they're just proud Black people that just do things their way. To me, that was to me. You know what I mean? And Dame Dash, he's from Harlem too. Diddy,
Yeah, I was gonna say everyone your name is Harlem.
Yeah, so you know what I mean? Or they chilled in Harlem. So those people, but a big thing from the beginning for me was like our neighborhood. Me watching everyone else, like Air Max 97s, Jordans. I seen the way people put their self together. I'm just like, it's very neat, but it's very expensive. The way they look, even though it's very simple, it's very expensive. So how can I do this my way and not have to be killing myself? And I feel like the model for VG is like not trying to style on people or trying to style people. And there's a hype beast culture where everyone's trying to get the most exclusive thing. And I feel like VG exclusive because we're crafting this stuff ourselves with our own hands. So whoever purchased this stuff it feels like you're a part of some type of community. We don't care if you're rich or poor, whatever you are, man. Whatever, we're just trying to make you feel a part of something. so you don't feel alone in this world. Because I know a lot of people feel alone, and especially during these times, a lot of people are depressed and things like that. So whatever we can do to make people feel a part of something, that's very important to us.
Facts.
Okay. And just kind of like you were saying, I would say, if anything, I would say, Dapper Dan. And just like you said, he pretty much tore something down, made it his own, and made it for the community, right? And I loved that. And I mean, to the point where eventually, after these big names like Gucci and Louis Vuitton kicking his door down and saying like, hey, you can't be doing this with our stuff. Now they're emulating all of his old work. Mm-hmm. And it's crazy to see. Yeah, they had there was a jacket he had done. I can't remember for what artist, like back in the day. And they just redid it and they put it on, they had it on a runway, but they didn't even credit him. However, because the community knows his work, right? We paid attention to Black fashion and everything throughout the years. Yeah, they called I think it was it Louis Vuitton? I think, yeah, they called him out and they're like, yo, make sure you guys credit, Dapper Dan for what he's done, because
Gucci hired him.
It was Gucci, my bad. Yeah, Gucci, sorry. It was Gucci. So yeah, they're like, yeah, make sure you credit this man for what he's done, because you guys would not, the Black community, we're the ones who are putting money into these guys' pockets, right? So we should be all across your board. Like, we really should. We are the reason it moves as it does, right? So we are.
We make everything cooler. We make everything cooler.
100%.
Hip-hop makes everything cool. Everything 100%. We do looks just cooler.
Everything
it is. That's not just looks. It is. We make it. Yeah. We make it as so.
Lil Nas X killing country one track. Like just
exactly.
Shit like that is just everything we touch, bro. Like
and they refused. They didn't want to give it to him. They didn't.
I'm not sure the guy's name, but the guy who just signed with Jordan on the driver. NASCAR, you know what I'm talking about?
The black driver.
NASCAR, yeah.
Bubba Watch or something.
Yeah.
Okay, never mind.
So he's touching the NASCAR scene now. He's making that kind of hot.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So like everything we touch, bro.
Mm-hmm. Everything. Because I remember even growing up, I remember my mom wanted my sister and I, she wanted us to play tennis, but it was one of those things where it's like, when you're growing up, you don't see anybody playing tennis. I mean, I can, David, we grew up in Galloway. Who did we see playing tennis? Who played tennis around us?
One person.
Not a soul.
One person.
Exactly. So you're not motivated by that. Okay, you see like Serena and Venus are playing tennis, but it's like it's not enough.
Not real.
You want to see more. You want to get representation of more of your people doing it, right? In order for you to be like, all right, because other than that, everybody played basketball. If they played soccer or any of those things. So it's just. Yeah, we really need to shine light on everything that we do, not just the things that are deemed as cool, but everything.
That's true.
Just so we're comfortable enough to go, or if not us, then at least push the next generation into those spaces.
Also, I think it's just like having things that are tangible and that are real that we can touch. So like the people who are successful in those lanes. So like for instance, like yourself in business or whatever, like or like singers or like anything that we do in those lanes that are not deemed as like the cool thing, those are the people that should be really giving back to the community, because they should like the little kids should know, okay, shit, like yo, this person is going out and they're a tennis player. I never knew they were a tennis player. I had no idea. Like so, like it's not real to them. It's not tangible. But like them seeing Serena Williams, yeah, that's huge. Like they see on the TV, but it's not real to them. Like even like the girl, the vice president Kamala Harris.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like that's gonna be huge for the next generation.
Mm-hmm.
Partly because like for like my daughter growing up, she's gonna see that, like, is that really tangible for her? Like she can't really grab that because she can't feel it, she can't touch it, she can't see it, she can't smell it, she can't breathe it because it's not real to her. So people who are doing those kind of things, like for instance, like back in the day, what's her name, Senator Mitzi Hunter, whatever her name is, Mitzi. Yeah, like her coming around to the community and then doing things. Those things are important because now you put like belief into those little people, those people growing up. So shit, They're doing it. I can do it. They're here talking to me. Like it's not just someone on TV that I'm seeing that could be fake. It's someone who's here, tangible. I can touch. I can feel.
I think one of the. I agree, but there's also a level that we got to discuss when it comes to it too. It's the fact that we got to push the narrative that it's okay to choose different things. A lot of the issue is once we get into sport, let's say we have an interest in sports, we're going to push towards the sport that we might have played, because then we're able to assist more.
Yeah.
But at the same time, the next generation might really find, like you're looking at what's her name, Naomi Osaka for tennis, right? We're looking at these, and we're knowing that it's a fight to get to the level that they are at. It's not an easy thing, but we gotta push and be like, hey, you don't have just these options. It's not just basketball, rap. You can play whatever sport you want to play. If you want to go, I remember going to school and the team had a curling team, and there was one black guy on that team, and they would clown the one black kid because they're like, curling is not a sport that black people play, right? We gotta cut out that narrative and change it and say whatever you want to do, whatever you feel you want to do. If you want to wake up and go golf at 6 o'clock in the morning because you think that might be, do it, right? Don't put a negative aspect towards it. Just push.
You know what's so funny? It's so funny because Beeks' dad is like that. I remember Beeks' dad like 3 years ago was just like, you guys should go snowboarding. You should go snowboarding. You know what I mean? You guys should just do things like that because you just never know. You know what I mean? So just try new things. Just do whatever you guys want to do.
When I started golfing 6 years ago, people looked at me crazy. They're like, "What's this guy? What's this big black dude doing on the golf course? Like, what's going on right now?" Those old people be looking at me funny, like, "Oh, like, are you here to like give me water or something?" Like, no, I'm here to golf, man.
and I'm gonna kick your ass in this shit too.
And it's crazy because there's so many different things that if we were pushing it to just do, we would find so much more enjoyment in certain things. Like when I moved out to Calgary, I didn't really want to hike. I started hiking now. Like rafting, I never really was pushed to doing any rafting, but now every summer I'm out there rafting. It's fun. It's enjoyable.
Amazing,
you get a group of people together. You're just, you know what I mean? So
enjoying life, man.
You're taking away the restrictions of what was considered cool because of the neighborhood you were living in, because you opened yourself up to go to different places. And this is what we need to start pushing to get out of the restrictions of your neighborhood and realize that there's a whole world out there. And it's not this block or this community. We have access to the world. Let's use it.
Anybody who knows me knows, like David's, like you see behind me, like I got like awards from like Galloway. Like anyone who knows me knows that like I grew up in Galloway. Like I rep 4301. I rep Galloway to the death of me. Everyone knows me. But I tell people now to this day, like me moving to Calgary was the best thing that happened in my life because it's put me in a position where I see things differently. Like I could be driving down the highway and I see friggin' mountains, bro. Like fucking like postcard mountains driving down the highway.
Yeah.
I'll never see that in my life in Toronto. You know what I mean? Like
that's one thing I loved about Vancouver. When I was in Vancouver, I'm just like, wow, there's like mountains everywhere. The air is different. There's forests everywhere. It's just nice, man.
I can drive half an hour from where I live and go live and go be in the middle and go see moose. You know what I mean? Like, like me living in Scarborough. The closest thing I'm going to see friggin' a malnourished Bambi. That's what I'm going to see.
You see those deer running in front of West Hill. Yeah.
Oh, man.
That's what you're going to see.
Except for that one time the wild turkey was just on the loose in Scarborough. So
this is a little to add to what Senator was saying, and also kind of looping back to what David Francis was saying too, right? Yeah. I think there's something that we also forget, because we've talked a lot about role models, and I think the fabric of Black society in general, when I look at North America, is very broken. And the reason I say that, obviously, Africa is a lot poorer than you can imagine compared to North America. It's not even the same. But a lot of people, even when you look at a lot of African immigrants that come over for university or whatever, a lot of them will have role models at home as well. I'm not saying people in North America don't, but I feel like society is built in such a way that it's so difficult for Black people. Like, just think about the fact that when you think about a lot of kids, like you said, that might have grown up in Scarborough or in a lot of these areas, like how much access do they have to a lot of these other kinds of sports that they can even play to know if they're even good or not? Versus maybe a white kid that could have been born in a suburban neighborhood where they're put into all of these different sports programs. It's different. Like, I look at the scenario of Gambia, like, basketball is not that common over here. It's not because people aren't tall. It's not because people aren't athletic, but playing basketball requires a certain basic level of infrastructure. You require an actual court. You require hoop. You require a proper ball. People play football on the street practically with anything that they can find as kids. You could find an empty can of sardines and start kicking it around, and it's football. But you can't do that with hockey, for example, or anything else. But it just goes to show that I think one of the reasons why Black people might not have been able to excel so much as well is because of access to some of these sports. You look at everywhere we're just put into these little bubbles. Like, think about it. Where I lived in Scarborough, Livonia, we had a tennis court. It doesn't look like it was used in the past 10 years. We had a pool. The pool was great. I don't think anybody stepped foot in that pool for like the past 5 to 10 years before we even lived there. So you start thinking about a lot of kids that don't know how to swim, a lot of people that don't know how to play tennis. You got to think about also, even if they wanted to play tennis, where are they going to do it? So a lot of kids also have that kind of as a restriction for them. And I like the fact that it's about it being tangible, about you seeing people that are doing it as well. It helps. The reason we succeed in basketball, rap, and all of those things is because there's so many Black people doing it. It's a path that people see that, hey, this works. So you know what? They try and do the same thing. Fortunately for me, I was born into a family of entrepreneurs. So business isn't something that's far-fetched for me. My dad's been in business my whole life. I've seen him do it. So for me, it was natural that I get into business. So I feel like a lot of times when I look at structure of society and everything, it's just, like you said, we got to try new things and just open up and try and keep to our roots. Because a lot of Black people too, when they make it, they kind of decide to just push themselves away from the neighborhood and from people that respect them. Because you get to a certain level of success. Maybe there were 100 Black people before. Now you start seeing yourself being the only Black person in a room of 100 people. So these are all, they're much deeper, obviously. I know we can't fix them overnight, but it does play a big factor as well.
And you gotta credit people like LeBron and stuff like that who recognizes that their high school friends, they were gonna work towards, and it's not like he's like, here's your money, do whatever. They still had to put in the work, right? So you're always surrounding yourself with like-minded people as you elevate. So one of the things that I'll say is that as you're starting to elevate, you got to make sure that the people that you're around are also elevating, because if they're going to be stuck in the same position and you're elevating, they're just there as an anchor. They're not helping you move. You're doing everything, but you're just dragging them along for the success. And they have to contribute something. And you two, Vinny and Bex, you guys are clearly working together, elevating at the same time, right? It's not one side's down and the other one just like, all right, I'm gonna do all the work and you sit there and think you're both elevating, and that's what we all have to do.
It's our partnership, man. It's our partnership.
To kind of leave this on on a note, like a quote that if you guys follow my IG, y'all see that I posted a lot of quotes and shit. A quote on my IG that I love is that, like, if you're not inspired by your circle, it's not a circle anymore. It's a cage.
Yeah.
I mean, like,
I like that.
So shit like that. Like I tell like the kids all the time that I work with. I mean, like if you're like it's just like if you're not one of if you are the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. You know what I mean? Like put yourself in positions where you can make moves and you can kind of gain knowledge and stuff. And yeah, so that's kind of something that I'll just leave it on that. But great conversation.
Yeah, what you feed yourself becomes your appetite. So you have to be aware of what you're feeding yourself.
Thanks.
So, yo, brother, I got one more question for y'all though, man. Before we go, what would you say to someone who's trying to come up and be successful in the industry?
Believe in the impossible.
Yeah.
Believe in.
Don't take things personal.
Yeah.
Yo, that's.
Go ahead, Beeks. I'll go after you, Beeks.
I say believe in the impossible. You want to go first?
No, I was saying what Vinny said. That shit is important, man. For black men, don't take shit personal, man.
Yeah.
That's so
but don't you notice that we like jump steps when it comes to like like the way we view revenge is very odd. I don't know who taught us this, but why do we get so angry? Why did someone trip you or step on your shoes and you want to shoot them?
Yeah.
What happened to talking? What happened to just strangling the person? Why do you guys want to jump to getting done? That's what I'm saying. What happened to us? Why were we so brainwashed to be this way? Like, why are we trying to seek revenge? Why do we even grill each other? I don't even dislike anyone. So why am I having a grilling competition with you? Those type of things are weird to me. So that's why I don't take anything personal. My little niece cut her eye after me, and I laughed at her, and she got mad because I didn't react the way she wanted me to react. So, none of those things. I don't take anything personal, man.
But can I ask a question? Do you think that's a product of being black or a product of our neighborhood and our surroundings?
Your environment, condition.
Yeah. It's environment.
We become products of our environment, but like, pardon?
The reason I asked that question, right? If you look at the States, for example, minorities that are anywhere in an underprivileged neighborhood, it tends to be a lot more dangerous. You put a bunch of people, pack them together in any place, and you don't give them enough opportunity, they got to figure out how to hustle to feed their families. That's a dangerous situation to be in, period. So I agree with you. I mean, I feel like a lot of people are just dealing with so many issues. Some of them are dealing with these issues without having the right role models. They're angry with life. They're depressed. They don't know how to feed their family. And then somebody comes and steps on your really nice, brand new white shoes, and you feel like this person is disrespecting. And you've been taught nothing else. But, hey, anger is how I'm supposed to react. I'm not saying it's right.
Well, I understand that for sure. I just want to know why, it still goes now. Why are we not living in today? Like, the current times now, we should we've seen enough people getting shot on the news, even though we already knew this has been happening. We just have iPhones to record it now. We know this stuff. So when are we going to be like, I'm done with this. I don't want to be a product of my environment. I want the environment to be a product of me. Like, when do we start thinking like that? And that's what me and Beeks did. Like, I wanted everything to be a product of me now because I was a product of that before, and I seen where it could have made me end up. But I'm thankful that I got to see through and actually get to this age. Like, I'm gonna hit 30 next year, and I'm actually so thankful to hit a next set of numbers as a black man. Like, okay, I made it here. Let's go hard. Someone said you only have 2 lives to live, and you realize the second one is. You realize the second life when you only what they say you have 2 lives to live, and the second life is when you realize you only have 1. Yeah. When you realize you only have 1 life to live, like, it just opens your eyes. You're like, oh, this is my responsibility. That person hurt me because I allowed it. I got mad at that person because I allowed myself to get mad at that. You have to start managing yourself. You're the hardest person to manage is yourself. So if you can't get past that, then it's going to be hard for you to be around others. That's all I have to say about that.
Yeah, agreed.
I think for not taking stuff personal for us, I feel like when we first started this brand, we were kind of taking stuff personal because that's when you realize the people that are closest to you are not going to always support you. So we had to grow from that to realize, like, people that you love and care for, like even your own friends, like, they're not going to be the first ones ready to give you their money to invest into you. not they may not like the product or whatever the case may be, but that's when I realized you can't take anything personal. I take nothing personal now, and like it also brings in more positive energy to me, because when you're sitting there in that mindset, you're gonna take in more negative energy and look at the whole world negative, and that's not gonna like be good for your own energy. That quote with what I was saying with believe in the impossible is like I said, like people don't understand their power, and like I feel like we do, and you can't explain your power or your beliefs to people that just don't see it. And like I look back on, like, for example, like an airplane, there's 100 years ago an airplane was invented. Someone sat there and said like, yo, in their mind they got this thought like, yo, I'm gonna take a bunch of metal, put 2 engines on the side of this object, and it's gonna fly over the water. And you can tell that to the average person, they're gonna be like, fam, you're not doing that, that's impossible.
Yeah,
but they did it.
100%.
Look how much airplanes and stuff there is now. So it's like, that's why I say believe in the impossible, because you never know what the outcome could be, you know what I mean? So
well, imagine that was one of the oldest laws, the law of gravity, and a man made the law of lift. You know how amazing that is? Come on, man. And we're holding ourselves to these little boxes. We can do anything in this world we could do.
Yeah, it's facts.
It goes into all possible, engineering, whether it be even a car. There was a point where, horses and carriages seemed like the only way, but then to think that we're now in an era where cars drive themselves.
Park themselves.
Like it's crazy. It is crazy. If anything, even if we said this maybe even say 10 years ago, it'd be like, nah, we're not gonna see that.
Even think about the jobs that we have now. There's a CEO of Instagram now. There's people that get paid off playing video games.
Exactly. And there you go. People are making money, not small money. They're making money. I remember I saw there's this kid from Galloway. What's his name again? And he was a representative for I think they had set up like a whole 2K thing, and they had certain guys representing for their countries. And this kid was representing for Canada. And I was like, what is going on here? Like, there's a whole Olympics for this thing now.
And he's making like $50K for like 4 or 5 months of work.
It's crazy, but it's there. It's there. So, yeah.
Living in the future right now.
Sam, Hally, any advice?
And it's always a tough one. I feel like I've been doing so many entrepreneurship talks lately, and one thing I always tell people, which is kind of against what you guys are saying, I agree 110%. Always push the envelope, think outside of the box. I mean, one of the biggest role models for me is actually Elon Musk, not because of his personality, but just the business ideas and the things he chooses to do. Like, this guy just chooses to go against all of the norms that exist. But don't ever be sold so much on an idea that you aren't willing to try something else. I've tried so many different businesses in the past decade. Some have worked, some have not. But sometimes it's very important as an entrepreneur or somebody getting into business to know when it's time to move on. And I feel like a lot of people don't know when that time is. Like, they'll be slaving away at just this one idea. It's kind of like, just make sure that you're working smart, because you can put 100% of your energy into something, but it's always important to recognize that, hey, you know what? I'm doing everything I can, but this really isn't working. I'm in love with it. Let me try it again, but let me try and focus my energy on something else. I feel like I've had to tell a lot of entrepreneurs that sometimes it's not the right time for that type of business. It might just not be the right environment. It might be so many different things. And this is coming from
some people don't know how to rebrand themselves too. Sorry about that.
They don't. And also, I feel like a lot of people tend to feel very entitled, like they deserve to be successful. Look, I always tell, you don't deserve anything. You have to work for every single cent that you get out here. Like, everybody is hustling, everybody is struggling. Yeah. And I always tell people, if you're making a product, make sure that it's the best freaking product in the market, so that nobody can be like, hey, you know what? I want to go and buy something else. Like, if it's that good, people will buy it from you. So make sure that you stand out so much that people have no choice but to buy your product. And that applies in anything it is that you do, whether it's you being a DJ, making music, you guys with your clothing brand, whatever it is that you do, just make sure you do it at the best. So you can always stand the best chance that you can, man.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, it's facts.
Don't disagree with that right there. It really comes down how teachable you are, how much you're willing to change.
Yeah.
Change bad habits to good habits. All that stuff is so important, but people overlook it. You have to change your habits. You have to get a little routine for yourself. You have to be confident enough that people are gonna laugh at you, and you have to look at them like, okay, it is what it is. I'll figure it out. You have to do your thing, man. Don't make words slow you down, man. Don't make the words slow you down.
To get out your own way too.
Yeah.
Sure.
A lot of people put their fears onto you too. Like even your parents do that. Like, oh, you can't do that. What do you mean I can't? You can't do that. I can do it.
They're the number one. I think that goes for a lot of us within the community. I think a lot of our parents will project their fears onto us because of their experiences, of course, right? And it's more so I guess it would be a defense mechanism in a way, but them not also understanding that they're crippling us by doing that. So I mean, that's why especially I always say, like, man, and I mean, of course others say it as well, but like, we are the generation of change because we see things at a completely differently than our parents and their parents see it, right? We are living in a new world, a new age. And especially as Black people, we know and we understand that we cannot. We have a better understanding of the system. We're able to speak out pertaining to certain things that might hinder us, but we're also able to make things happen, right? But the thing is, our parents don't see and understand all those things because, like, for example, this conversation we're having here, right? We're in different parts of the world, and we're having this conversation right now. It's something that, for example, our parents might not be able to do, or don't. For them to even have these kind of conversations with their own friends, it's probably not even gonna it probably won't happen. It probably won't happen. Like, I can come here, I can come here and I can be like, yo, you know what? This was making me feel this way, or it was making me feel that way. But for them, it's like, nobody's gonna know how I'm feeling. Not a chance. So, honestly, you guys, kudos to you on making this happen, because these are the things that need to happen, and especially in this time. A lot of us are in our heads, we're beating ourselves up, but then you have these conversations that reassure you, and it makes you shift your mental as to what you're doing, because for all we know, anybody in here could be starting a new business venture, and you've been beating yourself up, but then hearing the things from each of you guys just really makes you want to do things. It will make you do things better. If anything, at least I know I can maybe reach out to any of you guys and ask questions pertaining to certain things.
Anytime.
Right? So yeah, man, kudos to you guys. Appreciate this.
I really appreciate this gathering. I'm thankful that Jermaine invited me and everything too. Jermaine's my nephew's godfather too. I appreciate for being a great godfather as well too. You're a great role model.
Love, man.
You're a great person overall. I like being around good energy and stuff like that. People that are understanding to a level that a lot of people don't understand. It's good to be able to look at different angles of life and become understanding, so you can relate to people better.
Mm-hmm. And as for David, and as for Senator, I've known these guys for too long. David, I probably met when I was maybe like 9. Summer camp. Senator was maybe a couple years after. I was probably like 13, by time. But nonetheless, it's always been love, and for it to be asked, to come on here, to talk and everything, and then just to see you guys doing your thing, and just really, I'm telling you, man, it's really inspiring. It's really inspiring. Being able to be here and being amongst you guys. So, yeah.
Appreciate it.
Love, brother.
Sure.
All right. So we've got to the part of the podcast where we get to promote our social medias and anything that we're currently working on, or anything that you have coming out shortly. So, Sam, we'll start with you.
As for me, my personal account is Tita Soul. But as for, the Black Men Style one, it is BLKMENSTYLE. Yeah. And that's so I'll put it up in the chat.
Please, yeah. I was gonna say, can everyone just drop their stuff in the chat?
Yep. Hally.
Yes, sir. For me, it's actually simple. My handle on all social media is Hally Job. And for the business that I'm looking after now, it's Atlas Energy Ltd. So both are actually right there in the tagline for my name. But I'll also put it in the chat box.
Dope.
For mine, my Instagram is Vindad, VIN.dad. And then the clothing brand Voler Garconz, VOLERGARCONZ.227. And we have a next account that we just put a bunch of things on it. Vulgar.227.
All right.
And for me, my account is tiago.vg.227. So TIAGO.vg.227. As well as the Vulgar account is on there too. I'll put it's in the chat. I think I'm trying this out myself right now. When you type in 227 on Instagram, you're gonna see the Voler Garconz pull up right away. So you'll see the VG logo in there, and you'll see whoever else is a part of VG, as well as our art page, the blog page, vulgar.227. But yeah, put it in the chat as well.
The link's in the bio as well. It shows everything we have. If you click our bio, it'll show everything that we're connected to. I have a personal podcast as well. You see everything if you click the bio.
Dope. Dwayne.
Yeah, for my Instagram, it's Chaz, CHAS_Tenenbaum, TENENBAUM. And for my Twitter, it's Casshern10, CASSHERN10.
Dope. Coach.
My IG is real_Francis. And I was working on the season and all that stuff, but COVID shut that shit down. So I'm home with my daughter. So I sit.
Damn, brother. My Instagram handle, MAIRCREED, personal trainer.
Dope. And I always say this before I go. I have the longest one. That's why I wait till the end. Follow me at The Senator. Don't forget to check out the Not So Soft podcast with myself, Nino Rockwell, and Kino the Great. We drop on Fridays. Don't forget to check out my Twitch stream, twitch.tv/DeSenator, DASENATOR. I do that Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we do a Sunday night stream, and that's twitch.tv/SL_ENT. Don't forget to check out the Chatroom Podcast on Instagram at the.chatroompod. If you have any takes, if you appreciated the conversations, and if you had anything that you wanted to add to this conversation, make sure to send it to our email, thechatroompod@gmail.com. And this, like I said, we have one more episode after this, and then we're off for 2 weeks, and we'll be back in the new year. So, gentlemen, before I wrap this up, I want to say thank you, but I also want to say happy holidays, happy new year. Make sure you stay safe. I hope you get to enjoy some time around family. I know this is going to be a different type of holiday because of the pandemic, but there's always ways to see the loved ones that you have, whether it's through Zoom, like we did this, or FaceTime, WhatsApp calls. Like, there's always a way to connect with people. So stay safe. Thank you for coming on. And yeah.
Hey,
yeah. And we appreciate you.
And as I said last episode, I was telling y'all, I'm putting you guys on Bailey's Red Velvet Cupcake. Putting y'all on. Hey,
they have that over here.
I'm telling y'all, those that go to LCBO.
David bought them all. They're not there anymore. He bought them all. He cleaned them out
before.
I cleaned them out.
I put y'all on.
I've never seen that in my life.
I put y'all on the last episode. Bailey's Red Velvet Cupcake. That shit hits.
Okay.
Oh, and before we completely wrap this, happy early birthday to Jermaine, because by the time we come back, it'll be past his birthday. So happy early birthday to
January
you.
2nd.
Birthday.
Happy early birthday, bro.
And happy early birthday to me. And while on my birthday, you guys will all be enjoying some NBA Christmas games. So that's my present. That's my present to y'all. And this has been the Chatroom Podcast, your favorite baller's favorite podcast, and we are out. Peace.
Love.